I got there when it first opened, which was around 11:30 noon. And so there was like a few people in the bar. There was a lot of space. And little by little, the place got filled up. Then suddenly, this lady sits to my left. She looked like she was kind of a lesbian dyke. I'm gonna judge and assume everything was all right. She was staring at her phone, and I was just minding my own business. And basically, I was just trying to act normal and act comfortable and natural, even though I felt a little awkward because it's kind of weird to go somewhere by yourself. But nonetheless, it's what you gotta do. When you're single, you gotta do these things. So I was doing it. Then, all of a sudden, this man comes and sits on my right side. He asks me, is anybody sitting here? And I'm like, no. And so he sits, and then like a minute later, he starts talking to me. And the conversation is going by pretty pleasant, very neutral, very basic. And all of a sudden, I start getting a feeling. He had a ring on his left finger. You know, he's married. He had a wedding ring. It was like silver, platinum. Maybe it was silver. It looked like an ugly silver because it wasn't a platinum. It must have been a silver. But anyways, so he was definitely married, an older man, maybe in his late 60s, early 60s. The other thing that happens is that like 4 ladies, you know, younger women my age, maybe younger, older, in between, walk into the restaurant right in front of us because we were sitting like at a bar, the restaurant bar. And so they walk in front, they're entering, you know, trying to find spots. I got there early, so I got a good spot. And they were trying to get spots, but everything was filled out, so I guess they were taking them outside. Anyhow, so in between, when they're walking right in front of us, he starts talking about, oh, this place gets really busy around this time and around the afternoon. There's a lot of people coming in around this time and the afternoon. And, you know, don't be stupid when people say things and when they think things, because this is very like snappy moment. Okay, it might have been this, but in my mind, I'm gonna think that he saw those 4 women walk in. He quickly thinks the fact, which is, yeah, this place gets really busy around this time and later in the afternoon. But he was also thinking, because it was all women walking in, a group of 4 single women basically, that this is a time when I have the chance as a man to come get women around this time at noon when I'm talking to you, and later in the afternoon that I'm mentioning right now to you, because I'm seeing these 4 women that remind me of that time, and I know that the time gets really busy around that time also. So basically, I got the chance of meeting other women around noon this time when I'm with you, whether you say yes or no, and around that time when these other women and more women come later in the afternoon. So either you and me connect or not, it's okay. I don't care, because later I'm going to have more opportunities and more people to talk to, more women to hit on. So it doesn't really matter. So do you get the point where I'm going with this? How people can be sneaky and you cannot let yourself be manipulated and be sucked into the conversation of a person being nice. And just because they're old and polite doesn't mean they're gonna be in your favor just because you're a young woman. Maybe I'm not their taste. Maybe I am. Who knows? I don't think that I was like the best looking woman for that man, or else he would have asked for my number. That's one. So that's one clue. I asked for the check, and because I'm getting ready to go. But before I asked for my check, he actually asked for a plate because he was gonna get ready to leave. I guess he was eating artichokes. Oh yeah, so there was a couple things that I forgot to mention that were a turnoff for me when I spoke to this man. One was that he mentioned that he was a member at the YMCA for playing pickleball, because we were talking about sports, and I told him I'm playing tennis, and he was saying, oh, I play pickleball at the YMCA. So that was a turnoff for me, because basically my membership is like 20 times more than what you pay at the YMCA for your pickleball lessons. So that was kind of a turnoff. And another turnoff was, or a giveaway, that he's not the man for me is, or that I'm not interested in what he's got to offer, is that he asked for a box to go when he had like leftover artichokes. He asked the waiter for a box to go. I don't think that that's elegant to ask for a to-go box. You either eat it, leave it, or go. And go. You get it? Like that, get a box to go would be something that I did back when I was in my early 20s with my broke boyfriend at Applebee's. But these days, no, not even solo. I'm not gonna ask for a box to go, no. But then I asked for my check, and so I end up leaving before he does. He obviously does not pay for my meal, and that's a sign right there that he doesn't like me as much as I would like for him to like me. Or I don't really care, but you know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to say, I went to the place for enjoying myself, for having a pleasant time with myself. Let me turn this air off. Is that better? Let me turn the car off. Is that better? I went there to enjoy myself, enjoy my own company. But of course, I'm a single woman, and I don't mind conversation with another person, whether that be another woman or another man or a couple, anything. But nonetheless, I am very confident and secure about myself. I've been through a lot. I've read a lot of books. I've been through a lot of therapy where I know that I feel comfortable enough to sit at a restaurant bar by myself and enjoy the moment. I don't need the person next to me to talk to me. I don't need a man to show up and pay for my drinks, or I don't need to go with anybody. I could just be there by myself, comfortable, arrive by myself and leave by myself, comfortable. Whether I meet somebody or not, that's great, because I'm putting myself in an environment that's beautiful, aesthetic, the feeling of it. The drinks were great, the food is great, everything was great, the ambiance. I was just having a great time. Then this man, of course, good company, conversation for a few minutes. I'm gonna say about 15 minutes, 20 minutes max. It's about actually being aware and present and studying the situation, because you're not always going to get somebody to ask you out, or you're not always going to have somebody pleasant to talk to, for example. So always take advantage of the person you're interacting with and study the situation, study the conversation, analyze it, and be strategic about what to do next. Like, for example, I messed up a couple times. I was very jittery at moments, and I caught myself. So I put myself together. I could be kind of awkward sometimes, but I think I maintained my posture. For as awkward as I usually am, I think I did pretty good for this situation. But going back to that man and what he was saying, so when he gave the comment about, oh, you can come later, and you know, there's a lot of people here, just as those four women were walking in. That is not a coincidence. That is not something that he said because he was thinking about that. That was something that he said because when he saw those women, beautiful women walking by themselves, I know he wasn't thinking about hurting me or, trying to get at me for any reason, but unconsciously, his mind went towards the socialization of trying to meet other women. So in consequence, that tells me that he's at the bar trying to meet somebody. One, he still has his ring on, which obviously says that he doesn't really care. Two, he was trying to play it tough because he knew that our conversation was going nowhere because I wasn't giving him the signals that he was looking for, because he wasn't trying hard. He wasn't giving me no clues about he was going to be a provider or not. So I dismissed him with the conversation that I was leading him into, as he leaded me into the conversation. And three, as those women walked into the place, that struck a conversation in his mind towards me that gave me the ultimatum clue that, wait, this man is just a waste of time. Don't ever get carried away about what somebody says, because I think, look, this is the thing. Don't ever get carried away by the conversation. I tried really hard without trying really hard. And that's me being like one of the most awkward people out there. If I could do it, you can do it. I forced myself to go out there today. And it all flowed really simple. I just had to, the hardest part was getting out of my car and walking into that place and sitting in that bar. And I did it. That was the hardest part. Then the second hardest part was trying to feel comfortable and not awkward, like getting out of my head. So I started just, staring at the place. Oh, the lighting is so beautiful. I started staring into the windows outside. Then I glimpsed around me. A lot of couples were sitting around me, so that was sucked because they were all talking amongst themselves. And then the bartenders and servers were all busy doing their job. And then to my right, there was like 4 men in a group, and then they left like 20 minutes after I got there. They were just, I don't know, younger men on a break or something. And then there were other 2 men next to me, having conversations about business and this and that. So I wasn't really trying to get into no conversation, really, other than the bartender. But they were so busy also. So this one, I'm thinking, okay, all the online training I've trained myself to do is not working right now because everybody's busy doing their own thing. The servers are working, the bartenders are serving, and then everybody around me is coupled up. I'm here by myself, feeling as awkward as I don't want to feel. And I swallow up my pride, I swallow up my awkwardness, and I push it through. And I just stood my ground, avoiding to get my cell phone out of my bag. I totally only peeked at my phone, I swear, like 2 times. I peeked in my purse a couple times to look, just pretend that I'm looking at the time. So I did that a couple times. And besides that, I just basically looked around, tried to look happy and enjoying myself, which I was. But at the same time, when you are by yourself and you're trying to get out of your introvertness, it's like a lot of work. It's like double the work versus if I was to be an extroverted female going out by myself and doing the same thing, I think it would have been a little bit more comfortable. Everything went smoothly. I enjoyed myself, which was the main purpose. The second purpose was to possibly talk to a male. I'm thankful for that man that actually spoke to me, because it gave me insight, knowledge, and experience on what to expect, what to respond to, how to respond, how to act. And not that what I'm saying and doing is an act, because it's not. But you know, society, the way the world works, we need to be strategic in every single thing we do. Even if we're trying to manipulate, whether you're trying to manipulate the situation or not, you have to be strategic no matter what. Because even when you're trying to be the most honest, which I've always done, I've always wanted to be the most honest person out there, but I always get put in my place. Like, and in my place, I mean by what people want you to be at the lowest, because everybody wants to be up here. So, of course, when you're being the most honest and sincere, though everybody wants to be up here. So, of course, you end up being down here. So that's why I usually end up being when I'm being too honest. And then going back to honesty. Oh my gosh, I'm going all over the place. But going back to honesty, there's two types of honesty. Honesty of being honest and being the real you with no hairs in on your tongue. And the other honest is being honest according to, you know, being pleasant and wanting to fit in as most honestly as you can. I feel like people want a challenge, and that's a whole nother video. But anyways, where was I going with this? Yeah, the man. So yeah, he didn't pay for my meal. I don't care. I don't want you to pay for my meal. I got my meal. That's not the point. I'm not one of those girls that I want you to pay my meal. That's not the point. I have a strategy, and my strategy is going to work sooner or later. And that's the way I think we should be thinking. Like, the point of going out as a single woman is, firstly, either whether we're desperate or not, we have to get it out of our heads that we're desperate. Because we're not desperate. Let's put it that way. We're not desperate. That's why we're single. Because we're not desperate. Because trust me, if I was desperate, I would have a long time ago been in a relationship. A long time ago. Like literally a year, 2, 3. Like a month after I got divorced. A month after I broke up the last time. A week after I last dated the last person. Like literally, basically what I'm trying to say is that it's so easy to meet any man and date any man. Any is a clue. Any man. Is that what you really want? No, it's not what I want. So that's why I'm single. Single for life. I'm kidding. When I meet the right one, he's gonna be the right one. Because first of all, I've already been through all the lessons in my life. And I wish and hope that ladies out there and young women out there, whoever listens to this video, can get the knowledge and not be that desperate person and fall into the trap of a man. Because you're worth more than that. Men are tricky, but so are women. And I'm trying to get out of the habit of falling into the trap of men. Always going to be okay to go out by yourself. And it's always going to feel awkward to be out by yourself. Just like it's always going to feel full of adrenaline when you're getting ready to jump out of an airplane. Like I did back in airborne school. When I was getting ready to jump out of an airplane for training, because I was a paratrooper, I was always nervous, and I jumped many times, many times, a dozen times, I'm going to say. And every single time, from the first jump to the last one, I always felt anxious, nervous, and like I was so scared, full of fear. But I remained focused and I did it. What I did during my jumps was I stared into my jump master. The jump master is the person at the door before you're getting ready to jump out of the airplane. The jump master grabs your line, and that's what makes your parachute open once you jump out of the airplane in the military. So I stared into his eyes from the moment I'm shuffling, 1, 2, 3, or 3, 2, 1. Shuffle, keep staring at his eyes, into the horizon. Then the door's right here to jump out of the airplane, and I jump out. And you just do it. You cannot think about nothing but the focus. Now, what is the focus? The focus is that your mind needs to be clear and empty, and you just need to be focused on doing it. Once you do it, you got the rest. And that's all I got for today. God bless you. Bye.